especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him. So he never
some way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol.
And Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices.
Boxing experts raise worries about Canelo Alvarez's abrupt muscle gain and previous failed performance-enhancing drug tests after exposing him for using steroids prior to the Terence Crawford match. David Benavidez intervenes as well, asking why, if Canelo is genuinely confident, he avoids confronting him. He adds weight to the claims surrounding the impending bout by pointing out that 5 members of Canelo's squad tested positive for steroids, implying that the entire camp is dishonest, including Canelo.
Greatest Mexican boxing fights of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm 100% confident in myself. If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me, especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him. So he never got off
You think he's on
steroids.
steroids?
Of course. How does 5?
You saw De La Hoya
How do 5 people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids? Right. You know what I mean? All those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
I seen Eddie Reynoso on my fight, so we made a joke. He said like he came to watch me the fight and shit. And then they're like, "Oh, you think he's?" In my head, I'm like, "What do you think Eddie Reynoso's thinking about?" He's like, "Are we gonna fight David Benavidez after seeing this fight?" In his head, Eddie Reynoso was like, "Fuck no, we not fighting him."
Yeah, of course. Yeah, honestly, I don't blame Canelo. It's fucked up because there's a lot of money.
It's not even about the money. It's not about the money.
Yeah, but okay, 100 million, dude. You think you kidding me?
The first step when you're a fucking warrior, bro, the only thing you think about is glory. I've never thought about money. I've been smart. I'm negotiating my shit, but it's always a prize, bro. It's always, if I go out there and beat Canelo, bro, I'm a legend. You know what I mean? That I'm gonna live forever in boxing as a legend. That means way more to me than any type of money.
And I think that separates you too, David. And I admire that shit about you. I was like that at one point. Now how much you giving me?
Yeah.
and not to just bypass him. Shout out to Morel as well.
Yeah, shout out to
due to allegations that he personally provides performance-enhancing drugs to fighters in his camp. Eddie Reynoso's gym has been under intense scrutiny. Among them is Canelo Alvarez, who trains under Reynoso and has been accused of using steroids twice before. The fact that multiple fighters from the same club have tested positive raises questions about the training environment, according to critics. Many people are wondering how Canelo manages to bulk up so quickly as he gets ready for his fight with Terence Crawford.
Serious accusations about his gym. And the accusations are that people, or at least the implications are, that he is the one that is providing performance-enhancing drugs or is in some way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol 2 times. For Fahim Satur, I'll say that he did it 2 times, even though I think it was for the same fight. But Canelo Alvarez popped dirty for clenbuterol 2 times. You have Luis Nery, who had tested positive, but I think Luis Nery tested positive before he was with Eddie Reynoso. Then you have Ryan Garcia, who popped dirty after he left Eddie Reynoso and went over to Derek James. And then you have Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez popped dirty while he was with Eddie Reynoso, but at the time he was still allowed to fight. You also clearly see that you have an issue with the fight that's coming up with Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, in that you have one guy that tested positive and you have another guy that looks like he's using in order to get up and continue to climb up weight classes. You know, at a certain point in time, and this is something that Rolly Romero has said, certain point in time, your body just doesn't do that. At a certain point in time, your body just doesn't do it. I'm 6'2", 200, and should weigh about 210. Closer to 250, but I should weigh about 210. I'm not gonna get up. If I was 210 now at 50 years old, I'm not, if by 55 years old, I'm not, the only way I'm going to get up to 260 of muscle is if I'm juicing.
It's quite hard to naturally put on a lot of muscle in your 30s, according to observers. However, Canelo's body now seems much larger than it did previously. This has simply led to more conjecture, particularly in light of Reynoso's camp's past. Both fans and experts are starting to question whether Canelo's physical change is organic, or if it's just another instance of performance-enhancing drugs subtly influencing the results of big bouts.
If for a 30-year-old, right, you remember, your body grows, men's body can grow in height and length up until you're to the extreme in your 20s. By the time you're 20, your height and all that stuff is there, right? Your height and your length. In your mid-20s, by the time you're 29, your musculature is pretty much there. It gets harder to gain and put on muscle after 30. So Canelo Alvarez is about to fight a guy that is going to put on 20 pounds of muscle.
Be serious. Discussions have been triggered within the boxing community by Joe Rogan's remarks regarding Canelo Alvarez. Rogan, who has long been a commentator on combat sports and physical performance, noted how odd it is to see someone in their 30s gaining so much muscle mass so quickly. He highlighted that as people age, their natural muscle growth drastically slows down. Canelo, however, went against the grain. Rogan sees it as science, not just suspicion. According to him, such a dramatic change is not just difficult to accomplish organically. Without assistance, it's practically impossible. People pay attention when someone with Rogan's influence and knowledge of top conditioning raises questions.
Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices. But I'm a Triple G fan, so I'm a say that ahead of time. I just like Triple G.
There's a lot of money on the line, and if I could get away with it, I would do it as well.
Some tainted beefs.
I think, he definitely got busted once for something, but it could have been from tainted beef. We don't know. But it also could be that, we should probably leave them the fuck alone and let them do whatever they want to do. Do you want to see Manny Pacquiao fight or not? Right? I want to see him juiced up, fighting at 45 years of age, coming in with a full six-pack, lighting people on fire.
As the bout between Terence Crawford and Canelo approaches, fans and commentators are talking more and more about steroid use. Many claim that if it were discovered that Canelo was using performance-enhancing drugs, they wouldn't be surprised in the least. The logic is straightforward. He has access to the best medical professionals, dietitians, facilities, and rehabilitation aids available. And the temptation to cut corners is quite real when someone has limitless resources and the will to succeed. Critics contend that Canelo has every opportunity to take illegal substances in his surroundings without facing immediate repercussions.
What up, everybody? It's your boy MC from MCTV. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo Alvarez is on steroids right now as we speak and is going to be fully juiced with something that hasn't even hit the market yet. Think about it. He's pretty much a billionaire. He has access to everything.
When it comes to Canelo Alvarez, Floyd Mayweather has never been one to keep quiet. He has already raised the subject of steroids, stating bluntly that people are simply too scared to confront it. Floyd claims that there is a double standard in boxing, with some competitors receiving a pass while others are closely watched. He thinks Canelo is in that protected group. According to Mayweather, Canelo's marketability and status make many in the industry, including promoters, broadcasters, and fans, unwilling to challenge him. Floyd, however, isn't scared to talk about it. He makes the case that using steroids is more than just cheating. It is risky and jeopardizes the sport's integrity.
But what we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. They don't talk about that. So we don't know. We really don't know all the fighters he beat. He could have been not clean in a lot of fights.
Charges in the lead up to Canelo versus Crawford have not simply come from pundits. Both sides' supporters are berating one another with baseless accusations, while Canelo's base questions Crawford's stamina and ability to change at a heavier weight. Crawford's fans dispute Canelo's stature and strength. Both combatants decided to submit to extensive ped testing prior to the fight, since the tension has been so high. The purpose of these tests is not merely to appease the bureaucrats. Their purpose is to reassure the general people. It speaks Something about the current level of confidence in boxing that both parties felt compelled to affirm their clean status. Despite their fervor, supporters also demand openness, and the ongoing back and forth regarding peas has compelled the teams to react.
Strictly and consistently doing random VADA testing in order to silence each other's fanbase and their critics ahead of their showdown this September. Now, despite this being a normal thing, the gravity of this fight brings in more attention to their test results, partly due to the fact that suspicion regarding both men have been up as of lately. Namely, Crawford's sudden bulk and jump to 168 and his close relationship with Snack and Victor Conti, and of course the recent PED scandals being associated with Team Canelo, as well as him once testing positive for clenbuterol 7 years ago due to contaminated meat. With that said, both men have been doing random testing since June and will undergo strict and consistent random tests up until they finally meet next month. Now, it's worth remembering that despite all the recent allegations for Canelo and Crawford, both fighters have been consistent.
It wasn't always Canelo Alvarez who looked like the force he is now. He was smaller, faster, and more of a natural welterweight fighter early in his career. But he has undergone a significant metamorphosis over time. He is now overwhelming his opponents rather than merely fighting them. His changes sparked a lot of conjecture regarding how he was able to bulk up so successfully. Given his age and the physical demands of the sport, critics are questioning if this kind of growth is normal. Some don't believe it, while others credit it to superior discipline and training.
I think you gotta lean more towards Canelo because, like I said before, he been putting big guys out and down. And Canelo not even really a 68 pounder. He probably really should be at 60 maybe. And he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. They be probably close to 200 pounds, and he dropping those guys like that. So, I don't know. It's gonna be a great fight. The fans want to see it. So, so be it. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight, at like 60 or like at least at 60, just to get his body, to fill into somebody a little bit bigger, and things like that. I know when you go up a weight, you gotta, develop that power and not develop the power, but like put that muscle on and be heavy and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now. But I think he should just to stay sharp and that way he don't have like a long layoff or anything like that.
People with Canelo before Canelo's last fight, but then after Canelo's last fight, it seems like it's more 50-50 now. So everything is just the build up for that fight is just going to be absolutely magnetizing. Like that fight, it's garnered so much more buzz after Canelo's last fight, and Bud is Bud. He's one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. He is one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. So it's going to be a fight. It's going to be awesome to watch.
Have you sparred any of them?
I haven't sparred Bud yet. I haven't been in Canelo's camp. I've met Canelo a few times. I love Canelo's team. Canelo's one of my favorite fighters. He's been my favorite fighter for the longest time. But I have to be Team Bud because me and Bud are cool, and I have so much belief in Bud, and I know who he is as a fighter. He is one of the greats. So he could do anything he wants.
And being around both of them and seeing how they work and train and things like that, what makes both of them the fighters they are, in your opinion?
I've watched Bud, so for Bud in particular, he's calm in everything he does, and that kind of calm is scary to watch because it shows experience. You can see that he's been doing this for decades. You can see it with his shadow boxing. You can see it.